Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Made by Marymount, the official Marymount Athletics podcast. Today, I'm joined by men's lacrosse player Robert Kirkland IV. Today, I talked to Robert about what it's like to be named a first-year captain on the Marymount men's lacrosse team and how he plans to lead his team with success and to set them up for success in the future. With that, let's talk to Rob. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Made by Marymount, the official Marymount Athletics podcast. Today, I am joined by men's lacrosse player Robert Kirkland IV. Rob, how are we doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to get you on here today. Kind of a new face at Marymount, but what a face you're going to be this year. And I'm excited to, get to talk and, kind of learn a little bit more about you because I think you have quite the story. So, Rob, this is your first year at Marymount, which is new. I have to tell you this, we don't normally have first years on the podcast. But I think you might be the first one. How does that make you feel?
I feel a little special.
Feel a little honored?
Definitely excited.
All right. So Rob, you again, first year at Marymount. How did you get here?
I was at University of Lynchburg for 3 years, and then I had an extra year, my COVID year, because everybody in my class and the class before me got a COVID year, and I was looking to expand on my academic prowess, you might say. So I wanted to go close to home because Lynchburg was 3 hours away. My parents would make a couple games, but being here at Marymount, my parents can make every single game.
Where are you from?
I'm from Leesburg, Virginia.
Okay.
So it's like a 30, 40 minute drive, more or less. But the biggest thing was to finish out on a high note and have my parents be able to see that. And I think there's a lot I could do here and a lot I can help out with here too.
So this being your first year at Marymount and having played, other places, what brought you to Marymount? Obviously, you said you wanted to end on a high note. You wanted your parents to see you. But what about the Marymount men's lacrosse program brought you here? Because obviously it was something.
Right.
What brought you here?
Well, from seeing what they did or produced last year, I saw that there were some things I could build upon. I know that in my game that if I brought it to this team would help and improve. Because overall, it's a great squad. I love every single member of the team. And I definitely think that they missed some spots. They missed some things. They lacked some things that I could bring into the team. But overall, it was just the environment that I was able to come into that I think really helped me decide that I wanted to come here.
So you talk about environment, and as you guys have just started getting rolling, into your season, into the swing of game day kind of thing. I mean, you're in that swing today, quite literally. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what the environment is like for you guys. I mean, you're a men's team, so it's very different from like what I am used to, being a female athlete. What is that environment like for you guys?
First and foremost, it's high intensity. Going to this year, we have lofty expectations, high expectations that I think we can meet, like goals that we set. So every day at practice, whether the game, workouts, whatever, it's the intensity is always at a place where you have to meet that. Another thing, everybody on this team is determined because we all have individual goals that we want to set for ourselves, and I think that determination helps us get to that goals. But there are also times where we can be there's a lot of empathy throughout the team. Every day is not going to be the greatest day for every individual, but I know that I can depend on each and every guy to be like, help me pick me up.
I think that's important to note, being, men have this stereotype of being so serious all the time. And you bring up, that empathy side of things of accepting, hey, maybe today isn't your day. That does not mean tomorrow isn't going to be. And that's important. And, coming from you as somebody who's played the game for a long time and is, as we'll get into it later, but a leader on this team, what is the biggest way you're able to approach one of your teammates maybe after a bad practice, after a bad game, and, maybe they need a little boost? Right.
I feel like it depends on the person because as I've learned throughout the fall and the spring that I can't talk to everybody the same way because when I'm trying to give leadership or a comment here, a suggestion, sometimes it comes off and aggressive and sometimes I had to work on that. But some of the best ways I could do it is after a play, I tell them, hey, maybe do it this way because that'll work better. Even though it worked this time, it might work better in that way. Or it might have some people, it might take me being like, hey, like the top of my lungs, yelling, screaming, for them to like fully understand it. Because like I said, not everybody is going to take suggestions and advice the same way. So you just got to tailor it to who you're talking to.
Yeah, because not everybody, like you said, is going to take like you screaming, like maybe from across the field or whatever. Not everybody's going to, have the same reaction to that. Some people might be like, okay. Yeah. Other people are going to be like, yeah, what? Like, what are you doing? And I think that that's like a really big learning curve. And especially you, I mean, coming into a brand new team of, some guys that like have had their place on this team for a while and, they come in, they trust you and they're like, wait, why is he talking to me like that? It's a learning curve for you. Right. So with being a leader on this team, you were named a captain this year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about that, kind of how that came about. Because obviously, as I've said multiple times here already, this is your first year. Yeah. That's kind of unheard of. Yeah. And that's an honor. So tell me a little bit about that.
At first, I didn't really give it much attention because I was like, all right, I'm just going to play ball and not really worry about it. And I'll just let my game speak for itself. But I noticed that there's things that if I just let be silent, then people wouldn't like be attentive to it. Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, I think I have qualities and skills that I can bring to the team. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be ill-placed if I didn't want to be a captain. And I know that for me, I've always been from a place of leadership, but like not the most vocal. Mm-hmm. I feel like going into being a captain, I said, okay, it gives me an opportunity to be more vocal and present myself as a leader.
What was the biggest, or maybe not biggest, like the learning curve of learning to be a vocal like leader? Because that's a real thing, because you can be a silent leader, you can be a behind the scenes leader, but to be a vocal leader, everybody sees that and everybody is aware of that. What was the big learning curve for that?
Having to take care of 40 plus guys and making sure they're all on the same page. That's probably the biggest one, just because in being a captain, you're not always going to get 100% approval, 100% disapproval.
Right, yeah.
So just try to get everybody on the same page, or at least to see my vision or see our point. Because it's not just me. There's 3 other captains, Ryan, Gerd, and Grant. And for us to give that to them and be like, look, this is why we're doing it. That's probably the biggest one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is to have the reasoning behind what you're doing. Yeah. And accept that like maybe not everybody's going to like it, but you said there's 4 of you?
Yeah.
The 4 of you, think that is what's best, and like they have to have trust in you in that sense. So when you're named captain, what do you believe that the biggest qualities of yourself is what your teammates saw?
Both biggest quality, say like my attitude towards the game. Mm-hmm. For the most part, since I've been playing lacrosse, I've always been an X's and O's person. Like I have my roommates, my friends, they can tell you every time they come in my room, there's a lacrosse game on at some point of them being in there. So me studying in the game and knowing, okay, and playing for so long, I know, and I have the ability to show them, like, I've seen this before. It might not work, it might work, but here's how you could do something better. Like, here's how you could dodge better, here's how you could shoot better. And most of these guys, I would pretty much say all of those guys have that ability to learn and have that skill. Mm-hmm. And what I'm doing is just trying to perfect that and give them a little more advice on that carrot.
So let's say something that you or the captains, or, maybe you specifically here in this situation, since I have you in the chair next to me, something you tell somebody and it doesn't go to plan. How do you recover from that? How do you come back from that? Like, obviously, maybe you were in the wrong in that moment. And as a leader, you kind of have to accept that and accept that, like, maybe what you said wasn't right. And that can honestly be one of the hardest things ever. You're like, man, I was not right there. Yeah. What is the way that you kind of turn that back around?
Yeah. I mean, there's been multiple times in practice where I've been wrong. And then I've had my freshman be like, hey, you're wrong. And I'm like, you know what? All right, you got me there. So
fair enough.
It's kind of just being adaptable to the situation. Like, I have no problem being held accountable. Mm-hmm. if I'm wrong, tell me. I'd rather someone tell me I'm wrong than some.
Yeah, somebody's got to tell you if you're wrong in order for you to fix it.
Right, like you're letting me be wrong. So for me in that situation, I just listen to what they have to say to be adaptable. Like if it's like on a certain play where I was in the wrong spot or they need me to move, it's just like hearing them out and letting that suggestion come to my brain. Like, all right, this is how we can fix it.
So I want to talk a little bit about, like the game of lacrosse and like being at Marymount. Yeah. So, you being a new member on this team and playing in, essentially what is like a new environment. And by new environment, I mean new guys, a new area. You're traveling to some places I'm sure you've been before when you were at Lynchburg and places that you haven't been. What has like been some of like one of like the hardest things that has been like a challenge for you to like kind of like navigate your way through?
The hardest thing is probably the bus rides because those are pretty long and it's the conversations.
Especially one that you just had. We'll touch on that one, but
the conversations get pretty boring sometimes, and it's like, all right, can we get home already? But the most challenging part is to, like I said, get everybody on the same page because everybody has their own opinions, ideas. I love that. I love ideas. I love opinions. Mm-hmm. But we all have to get it into one and the same group mm-hmm. because it's not an individual sport. It's a team sport. Mm-hmm. Another thing for me personally is to not lower my expectations of myself because I have expectations, but I feel like sometimes I lower it for the good of the team. Mm-hmm. But I also have to know, like, you're going to have to get yours at some point. Like, your time is coming. So just keeping my expectations and my goals at the same level they were, and then also keeping everybody on the same page.
So talking about a long bus ride, you guys just took a trip down to North Carolina the weekend before. Weekend before. My weeks are running together. And you had quite the game. You guys had quite the game there. Yeah. Let's touch on that game a little bit.
It was a difficult game offensively. It took a little long to get it together.
How long? Would you like to share with the class how long it actually took?
We went to triple overtime. But it was really like a learning experience. It just taught us that like we have to come out hot and ready. Mm-hmm. Going into the game, like not a lesser opponent, but any opponent for that matter. We just got to be ready for it. Mm-hmm. We just can't come out slow. We just got to I've run through our sets, offensive, defensively, face-off, goalie, whatever the aspect is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely a nerve-wracking game. Sitting on the sideline watching our defense tough it out, and I give props to our defense and our goalie because without them, we would probably lose that game because offensively, like I said, we just weren't making it done in the first part of the game. But Mason Vanderwater got it done, and we came home with the dub, so I can't be mad with the win.
Yeah, you can't be mad with a season-opening win. Yeah. So now, granted, triple overtime does not happen often. No. That does not happen often, but you guys play like a lengthy game, and sometimes it's cold out there, sometimes it's hot. What is the biggest way, or maybe mindset switch, body switch, I don't know, whatever it may be, for you to stay like head in the game at all times? Because I'm sure sometimes when you're out there, it's like easy to tap out, right. But you can't. Like, game is still going on, quite literally. Right.
So for me, regardless of the game, like there's no reason there's no other place I'm gonna be. Mm-hmm. Either in practice. If I'm at practice, I'm there. If I'm at the game, that's where my feet are. And yeah, mentally, there's sometimes like, all right, bro, like, can this game just be over? Like, we're up by such and such, or like we're tied, and I just want to win at this point. But for me, it's like, I'm here, and I'm going to be here until the game's over. I'm going to give it everything I have, because for me, I don't have much time left. This is my last year. Let's go. So I want to give the game everything I got for one more year, and then just ride out to the sunset.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I think I talk about this all the time. I find a way to bring this into every single episode, I swear. But having it be like your last year is a crazy feeling. Yeah. And you don't really like realize it, I guess. Like, I didn't really realize it till I started swimming meets. And I guess like maybe when did like it hit you? You were like, man, like this is it.
It was actually one of the first near league practices we had in the fall. Like I literally woke up, we got on the field, put my stuff on. And I just I got emotional because I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
I don't have any time left.
There is no next year. Yeah.
There's no next year. So I felt myself getting emotional, but I had to keep myself composed, and I had to get my composure because I had practice. But it was I'm not gonna lie, it was a tough time in the fall because I had to call my parents. I was like, yeah, this is rough. Because what am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
But I know for me, going into the season, giving it everything I have and giving it to guys for them to give it to somebody else next year, I'm going out on a good note. And that's just the goal I have, just to go out on a good note and be like, okay, I'm at peace with where I left the game.
What does, in retrospective, what does a good note look like for you?
I mean, obviously, we want to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, that's not our focus.
Mm-hmm.
Our focus is whatever game it is, whatever practice it is. Individual accolades, sure, they're cool, but championship is way better.
Mm-hmm.
But the ultimate goal is to leave with this team. If this is the goal for all the seniors, to leave the team better than they found it, but also give the younger guys, the underclassmen, wisdom and guidance so that when we're gone and the class after us is gone, they know what to do on the straight and narrow, instead of going like they're calling me at my festival job, like, Rob, what do I do? I don't know. Like, you got the keys to the castle. Now you just gotta take care of it.
How do I say this? What is something that you would say, if you did receive that call? Like, I mean, obviously it would determine on the situation kind of thing, but like an overall, like maybe a sense of, what to do.
Right. I mean, obviously depending on what it is, like I can tailor it to what it is, but for the most part, it was just giving them that guidance and be like, hey, this is what you need to do, but also saying, look, I've given you everything I can. You know what to do. I have faith in you. Obviously, if you need me, call me. There's times where obviously you can't call me, but I'm going to give you, I can give you the advice now, but after that, you just have to take it within yourself to be the leader, whoever that is, whether captain or not.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to use what I gave you previously and build upon that for other generations of team.
Right. So ending off here, you guys had your first game a couple weeks ago. You have your second one tonight. So you still have a season ahead of you. So you still have plenty of time, plenty of games, lots of time left on the field still. Obviously, we touched on it a little bit. You want, to end on a high note and to leave your team better than you found it, which I think is a phenomenal goal. And I almost think that every senior should have that goal, but nonetheless, team-wise, what is something that you guys are working on now to ultimately help win, an Atlantic East Conference Championship and bring that home to Marymount?
The biggest thing right now is our intensity and focus. Obviously, with any team, sometimes there's going to be times where you're just not going to be as focused as you should be, which is understandable because this happens with any team.
Mm-hmm.
But our focus and our intensity is something that we continue to work on. And there's just that determination to do the small things right, whether it be passing and catching, moving our feet, shooting, running the plays correctly. I think that's like the biggest thing. And just when we get games or practice, just having that mentality, like, I'm going to beat you on everything I do, offensive, defensively, on all aspects of the game, having that determination and drive and going, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it, and you're not going to stop it.
Mm-hmm. So you have a game today. Obviously, you have to take a bus there, but I always like to ask this question. What's kind of your game day routine? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing today? What are you doing on the bus? What are you doing when you get there?
I'm not too extravagant when it comes to game day. Obviously, I have class. And before I get on the bus, make sure everything's in my bag. And then I'm very mellow before a game, so I don't get too high, get too low, because the game is a long game. So if you're overzealous in the beginning, there's just no way you can continue that over the course of the game. So for me, it's just listen to my music. It's I don't listen to like R or like rap music before 12 o'clock. And then before a game is R&B, and I listen to some rap here and there. And then before like warm-ups, I'd do my lap, talk to my grandparents, pray, and then I get my warm-up shots up, and then we're going into the pregame.
Do you have like a pregame like snack meal that like you're like kind of picky about? Some people are.
It depends on the day. Usually I'll probably have my pregame meal made before. Probably like a pasta, because I'm like a huge like grilled chicken and rice type of guy with some sriracha. That's pretty much like the thing I'll go with.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. And then most of the times I have a Pedialyte with water, just to get some hydration in there before, because like being on that bus ride, my legs, I don't want to get like stagnant.
Yeah, because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, being on the bus for a long time and then you have to go like run around.
Right.
We used to battle that with swimming a little bit. It would be like getting off the bus and be like, woo, all right, now I gotta hop in the pool and start moving around again. I'm not really used to that. Well, Rob, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I think I learned a lot from you today. And I think that's important to know. A lot of the time when I talk to student athletes on here, you know, I learn a little bit about their sport, but today I learned a little bit about character. And I think that's really important to note. And especially, you know, you being like an older, you know, athlete, I think that's important because you have so much to give back to the program. And me, I mean, we're both in like essentially the same way, like we're about to enter the real world. And I'm learning a little bit from you today on like how to approach somebody. And I think that's really important to know. And I can see why your teammates would have trusted you. I can see it. I probably would have done the same thing. But I want to thank you for joining me today. It was great talking to you. Good luck tonight. We're looking forward to seeing you guys, you know, have some success this year.
Absolutely.
Thank you.